A jury in Minnesota found former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin guilty on all counts in the murder of George Floyd last May.
George Floyd Square. This is reaction from the families.
I feel relieved today that I finally have the opportunity for hopefully getting some sleep.
But I know he gave his life so this could happen. And I know that he gave his life so that other people's cases can get reopened. We can re-examine the cases that were closed. We can get justice for people that deserve.
The murder of George Floyd launched a summer of protest. Protests that unified people of every race and generation in peace and with purpose. Enough of the senseless killings.
America has a long history of systemic racism. Black Americans, and black men in particular, have been treated throughout the course of our history as less than human.
We have to always understand that we have to march. We will have to do this for life. We have to protest because it seems like this is a never-ending cycle.
It was a murder in the full light of day, and it ripped the blinders off for the whole world to see. The systemic racism the Vice President just referred to. The systemic racism is a stain on our nation's soul.
Guys, share the stream. Here in Black Lives Matter Plaza, there is a sense of bittersweet relief. There's relief that the video of Derek Chauvin kneeling on the neck of George Floyd for 9 minutes and 29 seconds, that it is now, the consequence of that is him being a convicted murderer. But people here tell me that justice would be George Floyd still being alive. Justice, they tell me, would be Black Americans in this country not being some 3 times more likely to be killed by the police.
What this says to me is that in order to get a nominal degree of justice in this country, that a black man has to be murdered on air, viewed by the entire world. There have to be a year's worth of protests and a phalanx of other white police officers to tell one white officer that he was wrong in order to get one scintilla of justice.
So again, thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice.
It's not justice because justice is George Floyd going home tonight to be with his family.
I would not call today's verdict justice, however, because justice implies true restoration. But it is accountability, which is the first step towards justice.
The reason there was such a visceral reaction to what happened to George Floyd is because of how illustrative it was of so many other cases. The reaction was not solely about what happened to a human being named George P. Floyd, but also about the failure to have accountability on so many different levels. And you can imagine, what if we didn't have that 9 minute and 29 second video? You would have the police said versus they said. You may not have had a trial, may not have had any charges.
We are all a part of George Floyd's legacy. And our job now is to honor it and to honor him.